Hi class, this is Coach RJ and welcome to our module number 2 pre-recorded lesson. In module number 1, we were able to talk about the nature and concept of management, define what organization is, as well as the management. And then we were also able to talk about the different roles and skills a manager needs to possess to be able to run the organization properly. We were also able to talk about the three distinct stages in the evolution of management, namely classical, behavioral, and modern management. Now, in this video, we are going to talk about the business environment. Kung natatandaan nyo, class, one of the roles of a manager is decisional role. Diba? We have the interpersonal, we also have the informational, and we also have the decisional role. All of these roles and skills of a manager is needed in the business environment. Kasi again, we are interacting with people inside and outside of the organization. We are also receiving information in regarding inside the organization, in even outside the organization, and this information will be used to make sound decisions, to be able to solve problems and address opportunities. So now class, let's talk about more about the business environment. By the end of this discussion, we only have three objectives: to identify the various forces elements of the firm's environment, to be able to summarize these forces using the PESO and the SWOT analysis, and to explain the role of business in relation to the economy. So now class, let's first talk about environmental scanning. So kung makikita nyo kasi business environment, okay, environment pa lang, 'di ba? Alam niyo na agad na ito yung inside and outside of the organization. Okay? So, tatandaan nyo class ang difference ng business sa industry. Okay? So, let me just get this. So, pag sinabi kasi natin class na business, okay, let me just draw, okay, a big circle. Dito na lang outside. So, we have this big circle, tapos we have small circles inside. Okay? So pag sinabi nating industry, this whole circle is what we call industry. Okay? Yan. So itong circle na to, ay, mali yung ginamit ko na ano. Oh, one more. Isa pang one more. So we have industry. Okay? So yan. Itong buong circle na yan, industry ang tawag natin dyan. Okay? This is what we call the industry. That circle and inside the circle. And then the small circles, okay, yan, yung mga maliliit na yan, na circle na yan, okay, ang tawag natin dyan, class, is business. Okay? Business. Yan. So, ano ibig sabihin yan? So, ibig sabihin pala niyan, merong businesses sa iba't ibang industry. Okay? So industry, ano ba yung mga klase ng industry? We have food industry, we have clothing industry, tapos under those industry, food industry, there are different businesses. Okay, di ba? Merong mga nagbebenta ng milk tea, mga kunyari, mga fast food chains, mga McDonald's, Jollibee, yan. Yan yung mga businesses. Yan yung maliliit na circle. They are all under one big circle, which is industry. So clothing industry, we have small businesses under clothing industry, di ba? We have H&M, we also have pen shop, we also have mga RTWs, yan. So, yun po ang tinatawag natin na industry. So, ngayon, yan palang business, okay, kung makikita nyo dyan sa circle, sabi natin kanina, they have an environment. So, environment nila outside, yan, yung industry. So, ano ba yung ginagawa ng industry ng mga businesses na yan? And they also have internal environment, yung mga nasa loob ng mga businesses. Okay, so syempre maraming mangyayari. Kung makikita nyo dito pa lang, makita nyo na agad yung mga businesses, marami sila sa loob ng isang industry. 'Di ba? So syempre, titingnan nyo kung ano yung environment na yan. Okay? Ang tawag natin doon is environmental scanning. Okay? Environmental scanning is the scanning of the environment to identify the changes or trends that have potential to generate opportunities and threats to the organization's current or future intended strategy. Okay? So, ini-scan natin kung ano bang nangyayari sa labas ng businesses and even inside the businesses. Eh, kasi tingnan niyo dito, makikita niyo agad na marami silang kakumpetensya. Meron kasi mga maliliit na circle, malalaking circle, na pare-parehas sila ng industry na kinagalawan. So, syempre, since marami kayong competitors, ano dapat yung edge? So, more of that as we go through our PowerPoint presentation. Okay? Therefore, you need environmental scanning. Okay? Now, class, there are three different types of environmental scanning: the irregular scanning, regular, and continuous scanning. So ano po ba yung differences ng each of this scanning? First is irregular scanning. This is what we also called ad hoc scanning. Okay, ano bang spelling ng ad hoc scanning na yan? Okay, so let me spell it for you guys. This is what we also call ad hoc scanning. Ad hoc scanning. What do we do here? So sabi nga natin, di ba, internal scanning, external scanning. When we talk about ad hoc scanning, these systems are used, okay, used when an organization needs information for planning assumptions and conducts scan for purpose only. These scans are usually short-term and ends when the situation has been resolved. So yan palang ad hoc scanning na yan, class, is only done kapag kailangan siya. Okay? Kailangan siya. Pag kailangan lang, pag may kailangan lang isolve. And then, therefore, kapag na-solve na yung problem, tapos na yung irregular scanning na sinasabi natin. Okay? So, mga short-term problem lang siguro yung ini-scan natin dito. Next naman natin, class, is regular scanning. So, when we talk about regular scanning naman, okay, this is used when planners periodically update a scan to prepare for a new planning cycle. This is done on a regular basis. It is usually done once a month or once a year in preparation for a new fiscal year. So, kaya siya tinawag na regular scanning. Okay? This is also what we also call period scanning. Okay, so ginagawa lang siya, kunyari mga once a month, once a year, para makapag-prepare tayo sa sunod na taon natin. So, kunyari, yung performance for the whole year, yan, titingnan natin yan, kamusta ba yung sales, ano ba yung mga nakaharap na problems natin, or kung ano ba yung naging solusyon natin, what did we do right and what did we do wrong. What did we do right so that we can be able to continue that to the next period ng business natin, and then kung ano yung ginawa nating mali, yun naman yung sunod natin na kailangang i-improve. Okay? Then the next one is continuous scanning system. When we talk about continuous scanning system, okay, this is used for continuously scanning the environment of data collection in order to plan and strategize for an organization. So tuloy-tuloy. Okay? Kung sa irregular scanning, uh, when the needs arises, and the sa regular scanning naman, class, is once a month or once a year, continuous scanning naman, tuloy-tuloy lang siya. So, ini-schedule siya ng mga business owners kung kailan natin kailangan i-scan ang ating environment. Okay? So, mas maganda ako, mas okay sa akin yung regular scanning. And then sometimes may irregular scanning ka. Okay? Kasi pag naka-regular scanning tayo, so syempre, makikita natin yung mga plano na hindi nag-work at nag-work. And then kapag there's need, if the needs arises for irregular scanning dahil may hindi inaasahan na problem, and then we would be able to solve that particular problem. Okay? So now class, there are techniques for analyzing. Balik natin drawing ko. There are actually techniques for analyzing business environment. So, meron pa tayong isa, pero I would be able to discuss it sometime. I'm not sure kung saan. Siguro sa principles of marketing ko siya i-discuss. Meron pa tayong isa na Porter's 5 forces. Okay, tatlo yan. So we have techniques for analyzing business environment. We have PESEL, SWOT, and Porter's 5 forces. Okay, so mag-focus tayo more on SWOT analysis. Pero i-discuss natin yung PESEL and I will show you guys the image for Porter's 5 forces. So let's move forward with PESEL. Kailangan ko palang burahin yan. Okay, let's erase this. Okay, so let's go to PESO. PESO Analysis Cheat Sheet, meaning P for political, economical, social, technological, legal, and environmental. So mostly, pag PESEL siya, external environment yung ating ina-analyze dito. Okay? So, tinitingnan kasi natin kung ano ba yung mga factors na makakaapekto sa performance ng isang negosyo. Okay, ng isang business. So, unang-una sa lahat, political, right? So, paano ba to nakakaapekto sa businesses? Economical. Okay, you would see that there are different examples here at sa baba, and this will be discussed during our synchronous session. So, I'd like you guys to uh, write down your explanation for each of this one, and then we are going to discuss further in our synchronous session. Okay? Yan. So again, pag sinabi nating PESEL, this is more on scanning what's happening externally to the business. Now, let's move forward to the next one, which is the SWOT analysis. SWOT means strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Not unlike the PESEL analysis that only scans the external environment of a business. When we talk about SWOT analysis, not only are scanning the external environment of the business, but also you're also taking a look at the internal environment of the business. Because you would see here kung ano ba yung mga strengths mo, ano ba yung best best practices mo, yung iyong mga strengths, mga kaya mong gawin. And you will also be able to see your weaknesses. Where do you need to improve? Diba? Ano ba yung mga goals mo, opportunities? So, yan yung mga nangyayari outside. Ano yung pwede mong i-seize, 'di ba? Ano ba sa Tagalog yung seize? Kumbaga ano ba yung pwede mong samantalahin, yan kasi may opportunity 'di ba? Sabi nga ng mga businessman, striking while the iron is hot, 'di ba? Or ano naman yung mga threats? Okay, mga obstacles na makakaharapin mo sometime in the future. Okay? So, minsan kasi 'di ba kapag nililist down natin yung mga kakayahan natin, yung ating mga hindi kaya gawin, okay? So mas clear kasi yung nagiging goal natin kasi alam natin kung ano yung gagamitin natin na strengths natin para para makuha natin yung chance or yung mga opportunities. 'Di ba? Alam natin kung ano yung mga weaknesses natin para ma-minimize natin 'yan at hindi tayo matalo ng mga threats natin. So therefore, SWOT analysis is needed for the businesses. So this is another example of a SWOT matrix na gagamitin natin sa ating activity, sa ating group activity. I will be sharing an Excel file with you guys na merong ating SWOT. Okay? Now, what I like you guys to do, explain ko na rin, is that you guys will be choosing a local business in your community. Okay? Wala pong lalabas ng bahay. Ang interview po ay online lahat. So, pwedeng video or pwedeng chat naman. Kasi gagawa kayo ng presentation and then you will present that uh, that presentation na gagamitin ninyo. Okay? So, mag-interview kayo ng business and then you will ask them what are their strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and their threats. Okay? So, pag sinabi nating strengths, ano yung uh, positive na meron yung business na yun, okay, against their competitors. Pag sinabi nating weaknesses, ano man yung mga negative na meron yung isang negosyo. Opportunities and threats are all outside. Opportunity, yung mga bagay na pwede nilang gamitin as an advantage for their business. Threats naman, ano yung mag-i-slow down para sa isang negosyo. Okay? Now, dito sa mga boxes na yan, these are all questions. Okay? Questions na kailangan nyo sagutin right after nyong malista lahat ng strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities, threats ng business na napili nyo. Okay? So like for example, this one. Alin daw sa mga strength ng kumpanya ang pwede nyong gamitin para ma-maximize yung opportunities na na-identify nyo? Okay? So, strengths of a business. Tapos, may opportunity kayo outside. Kunyari, isa sa mga strength ng business nyo is young yung generation. Okay? Nagkaroon na, ito nga, nagka-pandemic tayo. Pandemic can be an opportunity and it can also be a threat. Opportunity siya para mas ma-reach nyo yung mga market nyo. Kasi di ba bawal nga lumabas. So therefore, pwede na kayong lalagay nyo dito, we can offer our expertise on delivery food, ganyan-ganyan, etc. Okay? So, you can list down as many opportunities as possible. Then, threats naman, how can you use your company's strengths to minimize the threats you identified? O, like for example, since kayo young generation lahat, so, magaling kayo mag-adapt, pwede kayong gumawa ng mga mobile application. So, instead na yung mga customers nyo hindi makakalabas dahil sa pandemic, pwede sila mag-order online. Okay? Weaknesses naman. What actions can you take to minimize a company's weaknesses? Okay? Using the opportunities identified. And then, how can you minimize a company's weaknesses to avoid the threats you identified? Now, the business that I'd like you guys to look for is not a business na sobrang sikat. Okay? Gusto ko maghanap kayo ng business na hindi pa siya masyadong nagbo-boom. Okay? Kasi mostly yung mga businesses, hindi nila masyadong ginagamit ng SWOT analysis. So if you guys have a friend or family na may sariling business, yun yung gagawa natin ng SWOT analysis. Okay? Ayoko ng mga Jollibee, McDonald's. Gusto ko local business. Again, wala pong lalabas ng bahay. Interviews will all be online. Okay? Now, class, what is the role of business in relation to our economy? Ang mga business kasi, they obtains resources, materials, labors, and equipment for producing goods and services that is needed in our daily lives. So, pag walang mga negosyo, syempre, wala tayong pagbibilhan ng food, wala tayong pagbibilhan ng damit, ng services. 'Di ba? Kung wala yung mga negosyo na 'yan. Di naman natin kayang gumawa ng sarili nating sapatos, ng sarili niyong upuan. 'Di ba? Natin kayang gumawa ng mga Wi-Fi towers, 'di ba? So therefore, yun yung isa sa mga importansya ng business sa ating ekonomiya. Itandaan niyo may GDP tayong tinatawag or gross domestic product. Ito po yung ating mga products and services na napo-provide annually. Okay, so yung mga businesses, pag marami business, mas tumataas yung ating GDP. Okay, so pag mataas yung ating GDP, maganda yung takbo ng ekonomiya natin. Okay, and as a result of business, commerce, and markets, consumers are able to live more comfortably and improve the standard of living conditions. So, syempre, yung mga businesses, nag-o-offer din yan ng mga trabaho sa tao. Okay? Alright. So, now, class, before we end up this recorded lesson, let's just take a recap on the things that we were able to talk about. So, again, we were able to talk about the business environment, the difference between business and industry, what environmental scanning is and its important, what are the three types of environmental scanning, the three techniques for analyzing business environment. By the way, ito pala class yung Porter's 5 forces. Pakita ko lang siya sa inyo. Siguro di-discuss pa to further in marketing. Okay, so this is Porter's 5 forces. Yan po siya. Threat of new entrants, yung tinitingnan natin dito, bargaining power of suppliers, power of buyers, threat of substitute product, and rivalry among existing competitors. Normally, ginagamit tong Porter's five forces to check the environment of a business kung papasok ka sa isang negosyo. Okay? So, titingnan mo kung marami ka bang kalaban, kamusta ba yung mga suppliers mo, marami ka bang supplier. So, syempre, pag mas maraming supplier, mas may power ka over your supplier kasi pwede mo sabihin sa supplier mo, "O sige, masyadong mahal sa'yo, punta na lang ako sa ibang supplier." Pero kapag mas may power yung supplier mo sa'yo, mahirap yun kasi si supplier kaya mag-demand. Same with the buyers. So, syempre, pag mas maraming buyer sa business, hindi ka magkakaroon ng problema kasi pwede ka naman mag-transfer from one buyer to another. Kung ayaw niya, o di sige, lipat ako ng iba. Pero if that's going to be the other way around, if the buyer has more power than you, so syempre, mas may power sila na mag-bargain sa prices mo. Sabihin niya, ganun ba? Ang taas naman sa'yo, mahal. Sige, lipat na lang ako. 'Di ba? And then the next one is threat of substitute products. Gaano ba kadaling i-substitute yung mga products na gusto mong i-provide sa mga customer mo? 'Di ba? So kung mabilis, kung kayang lumipat from one brand to another, gagawin nila yon. Okay, so normally Porter's five forces is used if you are going to enter a specific industry or business. Okay. Aside from that, you're also able to talk about the PESEL, which is used in an external environment. And again, during our synchronous session, we are going to discuss this further. SWOT analysis and the SWOT analysis matrix. And we were able to also discuss the role of business in our economy. Okay, so if you have any questions, you can jot down your notes and let's discuss it during our synchronous session. Thank you so much, and then I'll see you guys in our synchronous session.